The date was May 29th, 1882. The place was Crosswick, Ohio. Two young brothers, Ed and Joe Lynch, were fishing when they heard a strange noise behind them. When they turned around to see what it was, they saw perhaps the closest thing to a real-life dragon. The creature that would come to be known as the Crosswick Monster was said to look like a snake, but one that had arms and legs. The beast was alleged to measure somewhere between 30 and 40 feet long, with a head that was 16 inches wide. As soon as the boys saw the creature, it grabbed Ed in its arms and retreated towards a hole in a giant sycamore tree. The screams of the two brothers during this whole incident caught the attention of a nearby trio that included the town's reverend. The three men rushed towards the monster who dropped the boy, seemingly startled by their presence, and then fled into the sycamore tree. Ed was alive, if seriously roughed up by the serpent. A physician by the name of Dr. L.C. Lukens was brought in to care for Ed, and a posse of 60 armed themselves with clubs, axes, and hunting dogs, and then went down to hunt the creature responsible for his injuries. They headed to the sycamore tree that was last seen retreating into, and began to chop it down. As they began cutting down the tree, the monster jumped out and shifted to its hind legs, now standing around 13 feet tall by their estimates. As soon as the creature stood up, it bolted. I probably wouldn't want to take those 60-1 odds either, in all fairness. The posse pursued the beast until they saw it slip into a hole in the hill, never to be seen again. The story was relayed to the Western Star, a now defunct Ohio newspaper, and it was stated that if the monster was seen again, they'd try to take it out for good. Now, I'll be the first to say it. The story of the Crosswick Monster sounds completely unbelievable at first glance. The 13-foot-tall bipedal reptile is definitely one of the more out-there stories, even in the world of cryptozoology. At the same time, let's look at who was willing to attach their name to the claim that they saw the Crosswick Monster. The physician that was called to treat Ed, Dr. L.C. Lukens, the Reverend Jacob Horn, and even a judge by the name of J.W. Keyes. Not to mention the 60-person posse that tried to hunt the beast, all of whom saw it. I don't think this was a story that was just made up wholesale. At the very least, the people of Crosswick believed that they saw a monster that day. That leaves us with three possibilities here. The first is that it was some form of mass hysteria. I mean, the beast did just disappear, never to be seen again. My problem with this theory is that if it was just a case of mass hysteria, how do you explain the injuries on Ed Lynch? To quote what was published in the Western Star, Dr. Lukens said this morning that the boy, his patient, was badly bruised and scratched, horribly frightened, and that he lay in convulsions and spasms until 3 o'clock this morning when he fell asleep, but frequently wakened with frightened terror. Yet, the doctor thinks he will recover in a few days. That doesn't sound like mass hysteria to me. The other possibility that's been floated is that the creature wasn't a monster per se, but rather a misidentification of a known animal. Komodo dragons and monitor lizards have both been floated as potential subjects, but neither of them are even close to the size that was ascribed to the Crosswick Monster. Now, people aren't perfect at estimating an animal's size, especially given the circumstances the Crosswick Monster was sighted in, but I still don't see dozens of adults mistaking an 8-foot-long Komodo dragon for a 30-foot-long reptilian monster. The third possibility is, of course, that the creature was the real deal. As unbelievable as this story sounds, something happened that day that there doesn't seem to be any rational explanation for. So, what do you think? Was there really a monster? What really happened in Crosswick that day? Let me know in the comment section below.